Greetings, everyone. It is I, Rochelle McElhannon, and my brother Bilal Amadi here with the Holistic Living Network. And this is an impromptu conversation that we welcome that you join us. What we're talking about today, my brother and I, we got together and had a conversation this rising and just talked about what bitterness and offense is doing to us as the people in the community. And we just decided to just open it up to all of you, because what we want to do is focus on holistic healing. How can we do that? How can we heal our relationships, our families, and our communities? Of course, it would start with our relationships and what's going on. Just a little background as to what sparked the conversation from my point of view was Father's Day. For me personally, Father's Day is hard. It's a hard day to celebrate because of my past. My father passed away before I was 1. And I have seen and experienced firsthand just relationships with strong, beautiful Black men that have struggled. So when Father's Day comes along, there's so much an offense to deal with. And I wanted to open up the conversation a little bit late in the game, but let's first just start off by saying Happy Father's Day. As a young child, I learned that my one true father is my Heavenly Abba, Most High, my Creator, Yahweh, who loves me and adores me and will never, ever leave me, and teaches me how to love. So I want to say, to commemorate that, it's just Happy Father's Day to my Abba and to all of the other fathers who are still feeling it, still feeling the celebration, and may still be feeling a little sadness and disappointment. And we have a Baba right here, Baba Bilal. So,
Yo,
come on in and share your thoughts.
okay. I'm posting this thing live on Facebook so everybody can see what's popping.
Yeah.
So yeah. So yeah. My 2 cents, just to enter into the conversation, is that definitely I feel like the family unit, and fathers particularly, is a sensitive topic in our community and probably worldwide, but I think it's definitely something that needs to be talked about. There needs to be some focus there, and there needs to be some healing, and it needs to be approached in a particular manner, definitely in a very compassionate, empathetic manner, to where, in a balanced way as well, not a biased way. So, and for me, I can speak for myself. My experiences with my father, I've had great experiences with him, as well as not so great experiences with him as well. And it's kind of brought me to a space where my view of him is one of unconditional love. You know, there's nothing like, there's no malice in my heart from anything from the past right now, for me personally. Um, but he's been a great example for me and the brothers, as well as a great example, a great example of what to do, and a great example of things not to do.
Mm-hmm. We run across
So,
that as parents in general.
exactly, definitely. So, yeah, you know, that's my little tidbit to kind of enter the conversation. Definitely.
Um,
Mm-hmm.
I'm actually inviting somebody's reaching out to me, so I'm just taking the opportunity to invite them on a conversation
Thanks.
right now. Um, we also have a YouTube page. Everyone share that.
Yeah, we'll definitely share that link.
Holistic Living Network. Um, go ahead and subscribe to us. Also posted on my Facebook page. I don't get on Facebook that much, y'all, but when I am on it, uh, I'm seeing just a lot of conversations and feelings and emotions. Of course, there's a lot going on personally with me right now, and just want to share just love to everybody who's hurting. Um, and this topic here is something that I think can help no matter what, because when we say our community, we are speaking of the Black community, um, communities of color, um, communities who are facing outside of their relationships, facing oppression and stress on an everyday level, to the point where we don't even, it's so common, we don't even understand that we're dealing with stress and trauma every day. And for our men, it's something that I am not a man, of course. I can't speak firsthand, but just being in a relationship, an intimate relationship with a man, and having a son, I can speak from those points. Um, as a woman, uh, I am a follower of Yeshua, and it is a battle to love like Yeshua when experiencing an offense. And I've been taught by a beautiful woman um, who is also a follower of Yeshua, who has reminded me constantly how an offense is such a trap for a woman. And this is why um, we are dealing with a private war, all of us. There's a war that goes on in our heads where we are fed constantly lies about who we are, um, who people are in our lives. And these lies make us focus on the fleshly part of life, um, and makes us ignore our hearts and our love and who we are, who we're created to be as a people. We are created to love each other. So when someone has done something wrong to me, and it's wrong, wrong is wrong, right is right, wrong is wrong. Um, when somebody has done something to me that's wrong and it hurts me, it makes perfect sense to hold that person accountable and to want an apology and to want them to suffer as well. Um, it makes sense. It makes perfect sense. However, as a believer and a follower of Yeshua, we're supposed to love our enemies. So when we're in a relationship, um, we see that person as an enemy. They're not our enemy. We have an enemy. The enemy is darkness. The enemy is a liar. Um, and our husband, our man, the person who is there with us, striving to have a relationship with us, is not our enemy. If we are not in a relationship with this man and we instead simply share beautiful children with them, they are not our enemies. Um, but it's so easy to feel that way. And the enemy will constantly remind us to be angry with them, to remind them of the wrong that they've done, and to not love them and forgive them. And let me tell you, I'm sure that many of you have heard this, but forgiveness is not for that person. Forgiveness is for us. It's for our healing. It's for our children's healing. It's to be able to move on and be the light of the world, which is what Yeshua calls us to do. And how can we be the light of the world if we're constantly offended? Now, I am not perfect at all. Um, However, I have practiced this, so I have proof that it works. Again, I'm not saying that I am this person all the time, every day, but I have proof of the practice and it works. Um, so I just want to start off just by saying that's where I'm coming from as a woman to this conversation.
Yeah, I feel that. And to chime in, I wanted to mention, like, I think also, not to lay the blame or anything, but I think the system is the enemy as well.
Mm.
This,
Hey, Bilal, I don't know if it's me. Could you maybe up it, your volume, turn your volume up?
okay,
Okay. Maybe it was me. I just turned up mine.
okay.
Carry on, brother. I apologize.
Also, let me step up this way because I'm hearing feedback. Um, so yeah, I was saying that I feel like the system in this society is the enemy. And I think we lose sight of that sometime as well. The way this society is set up, I think it's set up for us to fail as families. It's set up to tear us apart. You know, I don't know if the whole Jim Crow thing is real or not, but the
I
stuff
think
that's
it
in there, it looks, it looks like it's how it works, you
is.
know? And I can only imagine the power of us united. It's like, rather if the person that we're with is our companion, our life companion, or just family by way of children.
Mm.
It's like if we can work together as a family and not let this system tear us apart, the power there is just immense,
Measurable. Mm.
immeasurable, you know? So there's that point. And then also there's the point of communication.
Mm.
I think that like you were saying, Shelly, um, when there's hurt and there's offense, there's always room for there's a fracture. There's a room for something to slide into that fracture.
Yes.
You know, and
Interesting movement you just used.
You see?
Mhm.
Shaitan. Mm-hmm.
Stay woke.
That's where Shaitan will slide in.
Yes. And he
Mm-hmm.
slid into the woman, not into the woman, but he approached the woman for a reason. I'll get back to that, but go on, Bilal.
Mm-hmm. So it's like to let that offense tear apart the communication. That I think that's the seed where the family is ripped apart, where we allow the family to be ripped apart, you know, at that seed of, you know, letting that offense break down the communication, you know. Instead, we begin to communicate with others rather than that person. We let, you know, people in our ear, like this, that, and the other. We start filling in stuff that's not there, and we go further and further apart as time goes on, slowly but surely. And the larger that fracture gets, the more space for, like, for things to be made up mentally, for Shaitan to slide in and create a whole illusion, you know. Um, we create more space for Babylon to come in between our sacred family, you know, this
Yeah.
sacred thing that we created. We let Babylon in, you know.
Man, I I'm trying to, maybe I should jot down notes or something as you're talking because you're hitting on so many points that are scriptural. And keep in mind, this is about holistic healing. This is about holistic lifestyle. So, of course, there's some physical things that we can do, like Bilal said, communication. There are some spiritual things. Spiritual health is part of holistic health. So there are some spiritual things that we can do, y'all, like how Bilal just mentioned communication. Now, as sisters, when we're hurt, what's the first thing we want to do? I wish I had another sister that was here with me. She would chime right in and she said, talk about it. We want to talk about it. We want to tell somebody. And we would rather that person who we talk to agree with us, be in agreement with us of our pain and our hurt. Now, in my opinion, I believe this to be fact, the first energy that would be in agreement with our pain would be Shaitan. Shaitan's going to agree that we should be hurt. Shaitan's going to be that, yeah, girl, I know he didn't. No, he did. No, you can't put up with that. Just different, comments
to
that are so
feed
familiar,
to feed
you
that.
know, feeds it exactly and plants that seed and that seed grows. Unfortunately, a lot of time for us women, it grows into a physical sickness. Um, there is research um, based on breast cancer. Um, why, what is breast cancer about? Spiritually, some can argue about it being lack of forgiveness in the heart in a woman's, what does a woman use her breast for? What they're for feeding and for nurturing. And when there's a lack of forgiveness and an overtake of offense and anger and bitterness, then there's a sickness that grows there because that's opposite of who we are. And, sickness can come from that. So there's also spiritual in spiritual scripture when Shaitan first communicated with a human, he didn't communicate with the man. He communicated with the woman first. Does that mean that we're bad and that we're weak? No. We have this beautiful power of companionship with our man, um, which is why God created us, to be the perfect companion for the man. Um, and we're able to build up, or we're able to bring down our man. So instead of going to the man first, he goes to his partner who can very easily bring him down. And there have been different stories that I've been told. I find them very interesting. Bilal, correct me if I'm wrong, but I was actually told by an imam one day, and maybe he was just giving me this other side of the story, is a way to speak to my heart. But in that story, Shaitan even brought Mama Eve to a body of water. And to me, it's so deep, this whole story, because there were no mirrors, back in the day. We couldn't really look at ourselves. We didn't need to. We were just beautiful and just living our life. And so he took her to a body of water and told her that her earthly king had fallen for another woman.
Well,
And then, to prove it to her, he took her to the body of water and said, "That's her." She didn't know what a reflection was. She saw herself and got angry. I just saw that as deep.
that's deep.
She was being lied to. She was his companion. She was his heart, his love. But she was shown this image of herself and didn't know who she was in that way and
Wow.
believed it.
He,
And
he fed
that
her an illusion.
they had heard an illusion. So, that story just spoke to me. I feel like, yeah, I'm gonna believe that. That's my opinion. That's my choice. I'm gonna believe that. And just
That's powerful.
just a powerful way that we can be lied to. Um,
Mm-hmm.
Taking this to today, uh, we do have a lot of relationships, man woman relationships, where we are partnering with raising children. Father's Day comes around, maybe there's been, a parent, and it's not all the time it's the father, okay? But we're going to talk about the father this time. That time coming around, maybe the father hasn't been present, up until that day too much. And um, it brings about some bad feelings, you know. Um, I'm one of those people that sometimes have those bad feelings and have to, really fight through it. And when I say fight through it, it's that private war. And in that war, me personally, I have to remember to go to the Most High and ask the Most High, what should I do? And yes, there's that saying, what would Yeshua do? Because usually that's what he tells me. Now, what would Yeshua do? Yeshua would love. Yeshua would forgive, and Yeshua would love. Yeshua has loved sinners. That's all he was doing when he was walking the earth, is loving on people who were doing wrong and healing people with that love. So, there are those times when you don't want to. I don't want to love.
Exactly.
I don't want to do what Yeshua did. I don't want to turn the other cheek. I don't want to give somebody my coat and they're stealing from me. It's like, you don't want to. This is not
Exactly.
what the world teaches us to do. But if we do it, there's an experience, there's a love experience, a forgiving experience that the enemy, Shaitan, does not want us to experience. So,
Exactly. And
you know,
that also makes me think too of the conversation we were having earlier, because we were talking about, I mean, it brings it back to the scripture where Yeshua, where I guess they were stoning somebody or whatever,
yes.
and
Oh,
Yeshua was like,
you have to bring up that scripture because that's a deep one.
you know what I'm
Keep
saying?
going.
He's like, you gotta look in your own eye. You know, pull the needle out. I don't know how it goes, but pull the needle out your own eye first. But
That's another one, but that's yeah. Yeah, keep going. I'm
you
sorry.
know, so it's like what we were talking about earlier had something to do with. Just makes me think of like it's almost like there's different realms of energy, right? So if we go
Mm-hmm.
to the realm of blame, if we choose to go to that realm, then we have to lay out all the blame,
Mm.
right?
Yep.
Tit for tat.
Yes.
We want to go to the realm of blame. We got to lay it all, we got to take it all the way back and lay out all the blame, right? Do we want to go to that realm, as Yeshua says, Or do we want to find some space of unconditional love? Do we want to go to the realm of unconditional love where all things can be worked out, you know, through the grace and the mercy of the Almighty, right? And one common thread that I see with Christianity and Islam is that it's based on grace and mercy, the most gracious, the most merciful, you know? Yeshua
Yes.
talks about unconditional love, mercy, grace. And what is the grace of Most High? What does that realm look like? How does that feel? You know, it's something so forgiving because if we were to if we were to unroll the Akashic records and go tit for tat,
Mm.
you know, on that day, and we're
Mm.
looking at it, we're gonna say, forget it. Let's not look at this. You know what I'm saying? We're not gonna choose to stay in that
Okay.
realm to point those fingers.
Exactly.
Why go to that realm? I think is what Yeshua would say. You know, um, so to look at what that grace and mercy is, that's something. I forget exactly which poet it is. I think it was either Rumi or one of those. He
Mm.
talks about how I think he went to the forest or something and met with one uh, Sufi master, and he got stuck on the first lines of the Fatiha
Mm.
because it was so powerful. Just meditating on those first lines, if you really being authentic and true, with the meditation, you get stuck on those lines. The most gracious, the most merciful. Where do you go from there? You know,
Mm.
where do you go from there? Like that's the sunnum bunum. Like that's the height. You know what I'm saying? Of spiritual heights. The grace,
Yeah.
the mercy that the Creator has for us is immeasurable, but it's what we should aspire to. And I think that's what Yeshua was representing.
Yes.
And that's one of my things. Like, I don't necessarily feel like Yeshua was always perfect. I think I think he came to show that it's something we could aspire to. I think they made him like a perfect God to say like he's different. Don't aspire to that. You know?
Mm.
No. That's not what Yeshua said, you know?
Yeah.
Yeshua said you can do these things in greater. Yeshua made, from looking at the scriptures when I studied it, there was some small mistakes there. There was growth, is what I mean.
Mm.
As we grow, as we can grow. Like he grew into Christhood. He got baptized.
Mm-hmm.
Um,
Mm. Let's
so
see.
yeah, I just say that to say
Thanks, man.
it's something to
I
aspire to.
yes. I want to just bring this up because once again, the story that you mentioned, Bilal, was once again about a woman. Um, And this also spoke to me. This is John 8. And it's actually the first part of the chapter. And it says, "But Yeshua went to the Mount of Olives, and at dawn he came again to the temple, and all the people were around him. And he sat and he began to teach them. And some of the Torah scholars brought a woman who had been caught in adultery. So she was basically considered a sinner. Putting her in the middle, they said to Yeshua, "Teacher, this woman has been caught in the act of committing adultery." And, we're not going to get into the whole idea of adultery, but she was considered a sinner. Let's just look at that, doing something wrong according to the scriptures. So, Yeshua didn't like religious people. Well, I won't say he didn't like them. He loved everybody, but he wasn't down with religious people and people who kept throwing out, rules and regulations without looking at their heart. So they put this woman in the middle, and they told him, what this woman was doing. Then they even brought up Moses. They said, in the Torah, Moses commanded us to stone such a woman. So what do you say? Now they were saying this to trap him. They were trying to get him to go against the scripture, because Yeshua came talking about all this love and peace and, you know, hanging out with sinners and things like that. So they're like now bringing up the scripture to him. So he knew what they were doing. And this is what I love about Yeshua. I feel like Yeshua was an Aries, by the way. So Yeshua knelt down and started writing in the dirt with his finger. And in the scriptures, he did this a lot. Like just started just writing, I think it was a form of meditation. Who knows what kind of symbols or writings he, performed in the dirt or in the sand. They kept on asking him, and he stood up and he finally said to them, "The sinless one among you, let him be the first to throw a stone at her." Then he knelt down again and just started writing on the ground again. Like, okay, I've said what I'm going to say. Now I'm going to meditate. Now I'm going to let y'all meditate on that. Okay. And then, so as they heard, they began to leave one by one, oldest ones first. Then after a while, it was just him, Yeshua, and the woman left. Now, first, I find it interesting that the oldest ones left first. Why? Because they were mature and they knew better. They had experienced life and they knew that they had done wrong in their life. So right away,
there was wisdom there.
There was wisdom there, exactly. So they're like, you know what? That's not me. I'm out. And probably the young ones had to probably sat there for a minute, being kind of prideful and feeling righteous until they gained wisdom and left as well. But this one really spoke to my heart. And sisters, those out there who have experienced a broken heart and, feeling like abandonment and rejection, again, offenses that we hold so dear to our heart. This spoke to me. Straightening up, Yeshua said to her, "Woman, where are they? Did no one condemn you?" And I just saw Yeshua, this fine being right there with me. Nobody else, just him, saying, "Where are they? Is no one here condemning you, sister?"
Wow.
Who doesn't want to see that?
Wow, exactly.
Then she said, "No one, sir." And he said, "Then I don't condemn you either. Go and sin no more."
Wow.
To me, that's a turn on. I'm sorry, that's not blasphemy, but that was just such a turn on to me. That's from a young girl. That's just why I just love Yeshua so much, because he's that man that we all want. And he teaches us not to condemn.
Exactly, and he allowed them to reflect on themselves. He wasn't even like, "Hey, what are you doing? This, that, and the other." He just held up a mirror. Look at your mirror.
Look at the mirror.
Reflection.
So if anything, brothers and sisters, maybe just take a moment to look at that reflection and just, I was speaking to Bilal earlier before this conversation, and it's so easy for us to understand that somebody should forgive us. That's easy. You hear that ring?
Yeah, dude. Some type of
Is that
feedback, I
us?
guess.
Mhm. Okay, not sure what that is. I don't know where it's coming from.
Maybe if you turn down the volume a little bit.
Okay, okay. Hold on 1 second. Yes. What is that? Can you hear that?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Hold on. Um, please stand. Oh, hold on. Please
Okay.
stand by.
Okay. I'll mute your mic for a second.
Okay. So,
Yes, yes. So also, another topic that I want to bring up. I mean, it's along these same lines, but I just want to put a pin in it while it's fresh on my brain. That I want to bring up with my sister that we spoke about earlier, as well as the level of faith. That's something that my wife Tiffany has always talked about as well. She actually got some mustard seeds and put them in a little baggie and put them on a magnet and stuck them to the refrigerator as a reminder. But sometimes, even if you do something like that, you still gotta refresh your memory, refresh, you know, and realize what it represents. And what it represents is the level of faith, how Yeshua talks about it just takes a grain of mustard seed, you know. Um, so the thing is how deep is our faith in our belief system? How deep is our faith in our faith, in what we say we believe, in what we say we hold dear and true to? How deep is our faith in our religion? Um, I just turned your mic back up to sister.
good, thanks.
Mhm.
Carry on. Everything's fine.
Okay. Um, so, and that brought me to, I mean, it just channeled through at the moment, but it's like, it was a thought of like, is it commercial faith or
Mm.
is it a deep rooted faith? Is it a faith that's based on not just belief, but knowing? Is it a faith that's based in practice and daily practice and holding a visual? Is it a faith that's practiced on a daily? Is it just a belief? Belief is good as a start. I think that's the mustard seed. If we can
Yes.
have a firm belief, then it will grow into a knowing, and we'll have experience, true and real experience. Experiences, the experience that Yeshua is talking about. Like, he's talking about magic. When he's talking about moving a mountain, he's
Okay.
talking about changing water to wine. He's talking about walking on water. He's talking about we could do these things. He's talking about healing, not just for
Mm.
show. He's talking about
That's what's.
resurrecting people.
Mm.
This is magic. This is a level of magic. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Supernatural that we don't do we really believe that? So that's real. You know what your faith is. Um, do you really believe that? You know the faith that you practice. And I'm not just speaking to you. This is speaking to myself as well. You know what you believe. Do you practice it? Like I stated earlier, I know I'm not perfect, but I have practiced. And when I practice, I see supernatural things. It's amazing. Um, so for
Exactly.
you out
And
there, you know, brothers and sisters, what do you believe? What does your faith say about offense and pain and hurt and rejection, abandonment? You know, what does your faith say about that?
exactly. And um and our faith and trust in ourselves as well. You know, even though um when it comes to family, you know, in a lot of situations, we're young when we start our families. We're young when we begin having children or begin getting married or begin particular relationships.
Hmm.
Though there was something there in the beginning, you know, there was something there besides naivety, you know,
Hmm.
there was something like the creator leads us on particular paths for particular reasons. So when we see our children, um, they're a reflection of a purpose, like a purpose. Maybe, you know, there's a seed of purpose there, is what I'm saying.
I received that. That's real. That's deep.
You know what I'm
There,
saying?
yes.
So to totally abandon that seed of purpose and say, like, it was all a mistake,
Mm.
like, I think it's a lack of faith in ourselves and in whatever was in our heart at the moment. There was something in our heart that that brought forth that manifestation, you know. And particular cases aside, like, you know, rape or, you know what I'm saying, but even in situations such as slavery, you know, we're products of slavery. Like, for me, I have German in my family. I have it's an amalgamation. You know what I'm saying? I got Native American, I have African in there, you know, all of that's in there. So there's a purpose there, you know, that makes up who I am. So, okay, I went down a long little road there, but it had to do with faith
We're
in
following you.
ourselves. It
Hmm.
has to do with faith in the Most High. It
Yeah.
has to do with strengthening our faith in what we say, in what we claim to believe. It has to do with actual practice of what we claim to believe and what set we claim, you know,
Yes.
rather if it's whatever religion it may be. If
And
we claim that set, we gotta practice that stuff, you know?
yes, and you mentioned our seed. Um, okay, I'm gonna go there.
Go there, go
The
there, go there,
seed
Dreddy,
comes
go there.
from the seed comes from the man. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
I know the seed grows in us. Yes, we are fertile ground for these beautiful beings. However, the seed comes from the man.
Mm-hmm.
Um, as I speak to my sisters about forgiveness, um, that's how we fight. That's how we move forward. That's how we continue to be who we are in Most High. Um, if I may speak to brethren, um, for those who struggle with understanding what in the world is her problem, what in the world is she, so angry about and tripping about, and sometimes it's, as sisters, we're just swinging. We're constantly swinging. I envision that windmill of both arms, just like, going there. And if we're doing that, how can anybody come close? So I say to the brethren with caution, approach, you know, that woman, approach her with love and understanding and strive to be there. I know we speak a lot about, the whole monetary side and, child support and, um, constantly requesting and expecting, funds to be present and available. And that's real, on the side of just, being a single parent in general, whether it's a man or a woman, when you're doing it by yourself and you cannot do as much as you want to do or as much as it's needed, it hurts. It's very disappointing, and you become discouraged and disappointed in yourself as a parent. And in that discouragement, there lies that fertile ground for lies to come in and remind us who we should be angry at and who is responsible for this lack of. So um, there is that whole thing, that we struggle with um, when the other parent is not there. But keep in mind, brethren, this is your seed. This is your seed. And no matter where you are, what you're doing, if you could just, take a moment and just reach out to your seed, having nothing to do with the woman, the fertile ground, you know, take a moment and reach out to your seed and just let them know that you're there. I think that that's way more than any dollar can do,
I
no matter
feel
what
that.
they're
I feel
asking for. You know, that
And
those things are needed. Those things are needed.
give
But
a back and forth though, right?
okay, say it again.
I said to give a back and forth though, you know what I'm saying? Male, female type of thing.
Right.
Um, I think also, like we're talking about the hurt and
Mm-hmm.
the offense, right?
Mm-hmm.
Um, Sometimes we can let that fracture down, right? And like you said, the male provides the seed, right? But the woman is either open or closed to this thing as well.
Mm-hmm. Right.
Provides can the woman can provide an opening for the seed, right? The seed is both the woman and the male together, united forever, right? And that becomes a part of their spirit as they journey throughout the omniverse eternally.
Mm-hmm.
That
Mm-hmm.
spirit, you're united in that spirit forever, right? So I would just say, like you're saying, like woman aside, reach out to your seed, this, that, and the other. Yes, though I think the portal is very necessary, is a big part of that opening. Because if that portal's closed, it's hard.
Mm-hmm.
It makes it harder for the man to be the man in the child's life. You know, it can make it a lot harder if that way is closed, because that's the portal to the seed that they've planted. Once the seed's planted, you can't even get to the seed. It's with
Isn't
her.
it interesting how
You know
God
what
did
I'm saying?
that? I
Yeah, but I'm
believe, I
just
believe
saying. So,
because
and let me give you this. Let me give y'all this too. You know, for the sisters,
okay.
right? This whole feminist thing. You know, I understand in certain aspects it's all good. You know, feel empowered, right? But you never gonna be the man. I'm not just talking to you. I'm just talking to sisters.
I don't want to be the man.
You never
Let
gonna be the
me say
father.
that.
You never gonna be the
I
man.
don't want to be the man.
So that's it. And you, as a holistic nutritional person and who studied that, you know, as a profession, you know that you know about supplements and you know if you're vegetarian you need your vitamin D, you need your this vitamin, you need your that vitamin. Okay, so
Hmm. Interesting thought.
they're not going to provide, a female is not going to provide the supplements that the father, the God-given father, is to provide. So if you let that that's caused by hurt and offense, if you let that fracture shut down the portal, then that's doing a disservice to the child, right? And it's doing a disservice. Well, any bitterness that you leave this earth with is doing a disservice to you. Now, I'm not just talking to you, I'm just talking, you know, female.
Sounds like you're talking to me.
I'm not. I'm just saying. You know what I'm saying? You leave this earth with that, that's not a that's not some luggage you want to roll with.
Yeah.
Not,
Mm-mm.
that's not the luggage you want to roll with. That's all I want to say. That's all I would say about that. You know, so
Mm. I
I
receive that.
put that out there.
Interesting, because as a nutritionist, yes, I do speak of supplements and things like that. Vitamin D. Ooh, D for dad. No, I'm kidding.
The
Vitamin
sun.
D. Yes. Is actually made in the body. Vitamin D is a hormone and a vitamin. It's a pro hormone in a way. Very special supplement nutrient. Very special nutrient. And as I'm a plant advocate. Plant based is my theme. Um, so in the scientific realm of nutrients, I cannot necessarily get vitamin D3 from food because it's the food that I choose not to eat. So to ensure that I get vitamin D, I need to go out in the sun as much as possible midday, or I supplement. Supplementation. Now, if I wanted to do, I can't do this on my own regardless. I cannot produce this in my skin. That protein that lies in my skin cannot produce this without the sunlight. And I will continue to become deficient if I do not consume a diet that is rich in vitamin D. So what do? I have to supplement. Supplement can come in different forms, um, and it won't necessarily do what the sun can do. Um, and because we live in this world where we don't live outside, you know, that supplementation has got to come in the healthiest form possible. So I say that to say that, in some situations when the father, the earthly father, is not there, there may be a supplementation coming on in. Now
Yeah, but that's my
do,
point. Is he
they
not
cannot
there?
do, they cannot do
Mm-hmm.
what the sun can do, but it will ensure that the body does not become deficient in vitamin D because so many things can happen to the body when it does not, over time, get vitamin D. And that's scientific, the mood, so, your hormones, your bones, um, your brain, your
Exactly.
endocrine system is all
Though
affected.
if you're
Right.
blessed with a system that can receive God-given vitamin D, um, like let's say, you know, somehow you're offended by the sun or whatever that God-given source is. You know what I'm saying? You know, you go out with your suntan lotion or whatever because it burns your skin a little bit, or I don't know what offense the sun can make, or you know, it's shining on too many people or something. I don't know. You know,
We are
too many
so
planets.
into growth. Right?
Too many
And
planets
for
are
our
getting
listeners,
nutrition from the same sun. I don't know what
yes,
offense it is, but if we're blessed to have the opportunity of intaking and absorbing that God-given sunlight, um, it's like the seeds that are planted. They need water, they need sun, right? So the thing is I know for me even my mom is like my first love, period, in life. People will come and go, things will come and go. I love my pops too, forever. But my mom, I'm still connected to her umbilical, you know, according to me. You know what I'm saying? If I could, I would be right in her bed watching Sunday morning cartoons,
goodness.
right? So what I'm saying is the seed that she plants in my brain is going to be one of the most important seeds in life, right? I'm going to carry that seed with me and I'm going to let it grow, you know? Even though, you know, for me, I have discrimination. There may be some seeds she throws to me and I may be like, you know, I know better or whatever, you know? But
So you know
it's a
better than your mother?
well,
Okay.
she raised me, you know to discriminate for myself. So, but I would say the seeds that the mom implants in the children are important, you know. And if there's God-given sun in the sky for them to intake, encourage them to go out and absorb that. You know, some people don't have that. Like, don't let that fracture. Don't let Shaitan bring down everything. You know, don't let Shaitan in. Don't let Babylon do this to us. You know, let's encourage each other. Let's encourage the children to intake the God given sign.
Mhm.
And for those with wisdom of what the supplements may, the side reactions of supplements may be, some people have had wisdom and checked and seen, you know, yeah, it's shining a light, but it ain't the God given one. You know what I'm saying? There's a purpose there in the God given one. You know, I may not see what that purpose is right now. It may be covered over right now. You know what I'm saying? But there's something important there, you know? So just wanted to put that out there too.
Received, received. And I'm sure if there are any listeners, maybe this might be something that's more received from the community it's after we're live. Something else to just throw out there um, as well. I'll go ahead and speak to my sister about this too, because if we were live, allow you would be getting tore up by some of these women out here. You know you
I
would.
know, I
So
know,
I would
I know.
say that, okay, wrong is wrong, right is right, and wrong is wrong, for
Mm-hmm,
sure. Let Most High be the judge. Okay?
mm-hmm,
It is
mm-hmm,
not our job to have revenge, to take revenge out on people. We don't do it very well. We don't do it well at all. In the scriptures it said, "Revenge is mine," says Adonai. And he has a way of making sure people understand they're wrong. And we have to strive to let him deal with people in their wrong. Don't take it upon ourselves to create the punishment for someone when they do wrong. I know that's easier said than done. Again, I practice that too, and I've seen firsthand. Only Most High can take somebody through something in the journey. Even myself, when I've done wrong, it might not be when I think it will come around. It'll come around during that time when only when God knows, Abba knows that I can truly feel the pain of what that person has felt. And it's supernatural. It's right. It's when you know what you've done wrong was wrong. And it's when you can truly say, "I'm sorry. I didn't mean to do that." And on the other side, we don't know when that's going to happen. So we have to forgive because they really don't know what they're doing. Somebody who does something wrong, come on, y'all. They don't know what they're doing. Do they? I mean, firsthand, they know, they see what they're doing, and they make a conscious choice to do it, but they don't know in the long run. There are certain things that they don't know that's happening, in the spiritual realm. They don't know what that is either. So in that case, they don't know what they're doing. So we have to forgive. And another message for my brethren: Hazak, Hazak, be strong. Be encouraged and be strong. Do not let there be a boundary between you and your seed. Find a godly way and strive to come appropriately. There are some brethren who are very immature in their minds still, probably because of something that they've suffered from or something that they're still dealing with. And they strive to come in a sexual way to this woman because that's all they can remember. They can only see her in that way that they know of her from before. So they come to her and try to connect with her in a sexual way or in a way that's just linked to her sexuality. Don't do that. That's not, there's another way. And sometimes it's on us too, sisters. We strive to connect sexually, and because we have that, we embellish this sexual, beautiful nature about ourselves, and we know that we can definitely communicate in that way. It's just one of our given blessings, and sometimes it can be such a curse because it's very it's not a deep spiritual connection. It's a doable connection, but it's not deep enough for a relationship that has already experienced pain. So I guess I would say that to both men and women. Strive not to manipulate in a sexual way just because it's available. There are other ways to approach each other that may not be as attractive or fun, but it's way more real. It's way more lasting. I know
For real, for real.
any woman that has dealt with pain, and a lot of times there's sexual pain there dealing with women. If you can come to her first going through the Father, first going through, being protected and covered in Ephesians, you'll find a formula. There's a formula to put on the helmet. This is the helmet of salvation, the breastplate of righteousness, the sword of the scripture. You come with those tools and you won't lose. You'll reach your seed. You come the righteous way, you will reach your seed. It might not be that day, but it will happen. So
For
yeah,
real.
don't let
I
Chazak
love that.
be strong. Don't let anything come between you and your children, your seed. Just strive
For
to do
real.
that and love. I'm not judging and shaking my finger. Just I know that there's pain in our brothers as well that we just as women do not understand. So I just say to our brothers, rise up. Chazak.
For
Chazak
real. I
means
love that. 'Cause,
be strong.
and and so along those lines, I would say, rather, you know, if we're speaking about not just the children, relationships, rather the relationship we're in, uh, ex relationship, a past relationship, um, and even just relationships with our loved ones, but mainly family relationships. I think we need to start looking at it more like, I forget who told me this, but I loved it like a triangle. And the creator is at the top of the triangle,
Mm,
and our relationship is first with the creator.
yes.
And the creator like is shining upon us. That's where our union comes in,
Mm,
our relationship together with the creator.
mm-hmm.
And so much I see people not really believing in anything.
Mm.
People believing in money and sex,
Yeah,
you know, and
that's very privileged days.
life is beyond that. Yeah, So if we don't have the creator at the top of our pyramid, then what are we doing? Like, and some people don't even believe in the creator. Some feel like, they're atheists or whatever. But I would say to that person, try and you'll see. Like, start with the seed of belief and see what that is about, what the Most High is about. It's
Yeah.
about grace. It's about mercy, and really authentically, not in a way of I went to church today, I felt good for a moment. Commercial, commercial faith,
Mm-hmm.
but deep rooted practice faith. um, I think it's really important to put creator at the top of that pyramid, because it's not a fight over each other. It's not like, oh, that's my man, that's my woman, or it's that and the other. No, it's every morning we come to the creator to see, what will you have of us? What would you have us do? You know, how can we proceed? How can we shine your light, creator? You know, it's not a possession of each other. So I will make that point. And then also there's the point of brethren, you know, like, yes, we must take responsibility um, for our actions. We must take responsibility for our seeds. We must do our best. We must reflect upon ourselves, look in the mirror every day and see where we're lacking and where we can improve, and check ourselves and be really real about it. And just see where we're slacking, where we slacking off. You know what I'm saying? See where we're being selfish. See where we're letting that ego in, and overlooking um, important things. See where we're being lazy, um, and pick it up. Um, and also, on the financial tip, for me, I think that has a lot to do with, I don't want to lie to blame or, try to make excuses. But a lot of the time, I think this system is set up for us to fail as a family. Why? Because the um, the conversation, the communication fails so early on, and that's where we build together as a community. How we gonna have babies with somebody that we claim isn't a part of our community, our immediate community? You know, it's
Mhm.
like that's an illusion. Like they live on in your children. We see them every day. We see our loved one in our children every day. Yet we try to exclude the person that is within this person. It's weird to me. But I would say financially, we got to step it up. We got to come together. We got to lift up each other. We can't be so like let me get off on my own, and at least I'm okay. Like let's lift each other. Like if I see my brother down, I'ma lift him up. You know what I'm saying? If I see my sister down, I'ma lift her up. You know, if I see my loved one, you know, if I have an idea, if I have a connect, if I see some way to uplift each other, like we gotta do that, because this whole thing of everybody being in their own corner and trying to survive, that's how we all end up living check to check. And that's what they want from us, because it leaves us off balance. We can never get firm footing, you know? So we got to create a foundation through communication. Don't shut down the communication with each other. And the communication has to be clear as well, like you just um, said, my sister, about like, and it don't have to be a total shutdown. It just has to be a clarification. This is not sexual. I love you. I love you unconditionally. It's not sexual. I want to clarify that. I'm not going to let that shut down my communication though, you know, because the love is infinite, you know, but we got to be clear, and we got to keep the lane of communication open, build upon these things for our children. We have to stay connected, because there's a purpose behind all of this. The creator did this for a reason, I'm sure, this, that, and the other. We see it reflected in our children as they grow. Look how beautiful they are. This is our purpose. This is, children as our children. Look at this beauty. This is what it could be. And it could be greater, if we keep the connection and we keep it clear, keep the line of communication clear as well.
Okay.
So yeah, I just wanted to put that out for the brothers. We definitely have to take care of our responsibilities. We definitely like throw a seed out and walk the other way, just like, and give up so easy. Like, we have to take on that thing also of aspiring for what we believe in, such as Yeshua, you know, that that infinite mercy, that infinite grace, you know, um, or as they call him in Islam, Isa, you know. So we find these teachings in all of the key religions and belief systems. I just want to put that out there.
That's that's a good place right now to bring this particular conversation to a close. We're going to continue this conversation because right now this is just between me and my brethren. But we're going to continue this conversation and have some guests the next time. We
Definitely.
welcome your comments. Um, as we've already put in our chat room the link to our Holistic Living Network YouTube channel.
Yeah, definitely subscribe. You know, it's going to be more powerful conversations like this. It's all about
Yeah.
holistic living.
Yes, yes. And I want to just big up right now some of the holistic healthcare professionals that are struggling um, to practice in this world of medicine and cheap treatment, or expensive treatment that's cheap uh, in its delivery and ability to heal. Just want to big them up. Moving forward, we're going to actually, pay tribute to some of these practitioners in our communities. Also, for those of us who have a calling in holistic healthcare, holistic lifestyle, there are jobs, employment um, opportunities that we're going to also share with you all as well, so we can reach these people who have sicknesses, who need holistic healthcare. They need holistic healing in their lives. Um, Again, this is one of the many aspects of holistic healing that we're speaking of today. That is in the relationship between men and women in our communities. Um, and we just want to leave with some. Can we bring on some of that beautiful, heavenly, angelic music? Tell y'all what,
Sure.
this song right here has been my herbs for about 18 years. I specifically go to this song to be uplifted, um, to remember, to love, and to sing and to dance. Somebody recently once told me that you can really see the heart of a person, experience the heart of a person in the face of adversity and when no one's looking. And in those two situations, some beautiful things can happen, or you can see some ugly. When I play this song, this beauty comes out, and I want to dance and dance in a way that I know that the Most High is present, and I'm dancing for Him. I love it. So we love y'all. In the spirit of Most High, we love you, and we want to see you all come together with no offense and no fake faith. And be real with your faith and forgive. His Most High Abba is forgiving you right now.
Divine Mother as well.
Yes. He's one, though. He's one.
Yes, yeah, she is. One love, and give thanks for everybody who watched us live and everybody who will watch us in the future.
All right. Shalom. Shabbat shalom.
Shalom, shalom. I have another jam for y'all as well. This is an exclusive from me and one of my spiritual teachers, Baba G. It kind of hits on a topic we were building on. I want y'all to feel right. It's coming up in a second. All right, y'all check this out.
I saw reflection in the mirror. I knew that you were true with nothing that you gave me to do. You told me, come on, son, it's better crossing you with me. You were sent me to be and raise it up and keep it free. Love supreme and all divine kings. You know that you were here to save. I saw it standing in my heart. I saw the fever. He was there standing in the mirror. Reflections of a higher being. I testify he was there for my heart. I said I could not see my mirror. Oh, my soul, I bear it in straw of a facing that on my spine was lifted to that goal. So brightly it shine, radiant in my mind, so pure and divine. I knew that it's here. I saw love staring there, reflection of you. Yeah, it was my heart beat. I saw reflections in a mirror, divinely calling on the name that had the best. I said that you are love. I said, could not have been a dream. That's right. Got that truth that keeps me tight. Hold me close and all night. I know you are at my side. Your vision is so clear. It brought me to a place that's near. To the breath that I breathe so clearly. I know how you get me. The song that you make me sing, I call up on your name, oh Lord. You got me staring in the mirror. Reflections of a higher mind I am. I know that you are me. Oh yeah, yeah, that I am, that I am. And you know that you are the one that brought me in this pleasant place. I see you standing in the mirror. Reflection in that breeze, the birds and bees and all those trees. Those streams flowing up and down. I tell you that we're free. Do you see just my heart? Feels so good. You're my life, oh my life, oh my Lord. Reflections of a heart is all I know. It's what you're thinking, yeah. I see reflections in the mirror. Living in the heart of Christ. You know me better than love. It could not have been clearer. Could not have been any clearer. Could not have been any. Na 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 na. Na 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 na. Na 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 na. You are the son of light. I see reflections in the mirror. when I saw him standing there, it was be clearer. It was reflections in the mirror of a higher being that gave me all that I am. I am that I am. Just a reflection in the mirror. Yeah.
Just like Michael, look in the mirror, I go. Staring the heart of hearts in the dotted line of shining to the light. Do it, do so bright.
Whoa. We stood there in reflections of ourselves. We know that you are there. We are reflections in the mirror. Just testify to you, your heart well. In that we are the priceless, so that you have all the year.
Yeah, you feel the groove and we feel the prep. Looking in the heart, and you know we stand. Looking back, it's iron hand. Yeah, and then we flying high. Look at the wings and they also fly. Shining and bright and they know no die. Never gonna die and we also fly.
We are the same, we have to see yourself. You know that you are God, and I am that you are, and we will. The trueness of the light that shine within. We are the sacred place. It's called love and it's free from sin.
It's the loose. This is how we do it and we know it's the truth. Yo, never come too loose. Never come too tight. Never tear up.
Don't play.
You know what we said? Check.
Just pray.
Yo, we're gonna roll that back one more time. What? Musical ministry. Abba Oracle. Baba Lavo. Coming at you.
I saw reflection in the mirror. I knew that you were true with nothing that you gave me to do. You told me, come on, son, and better cross and you would be who you were sent me to be, and raise it up and keep it free. Love supreme and all divine things. You know that you were here to sing. I saw it standing in my heart. I saw the fever. He was there standing in the mirror. Reflections of a higher being. I testify he was there for my heart. I said I could not be my mirror. Oh, my soul, I bear it in straw of a facing that home. My spine was lifted to that goal. So brightly it shine, radiant in my mind, so pure and divine. I knew that it'd be her. I saw love staring there, reflection of you. Yeah, it was my heart beat. I saw reflections in a mirror, divinely calling on the name that had the best. I say that you are love. I think it's not that thing that you that's right. Got that truth, they catch me tight. Hold me close and all night. I know you are at my side. Your vision is so clear, brought me to a place that's near. To the breath that I breathe so clearly, I will heard you get the song that you make me sing, I call up on your name, oh God. You got me staring in the mirror. Reflections of a higher mind I am. I know that you are me. Oh yeah, that I am. And you know that you are the one that brought me in this pleasant place. I see reflections in the mirror. Living in the heart of hearts. You know it does. It could never be clearer.
Word up. Give thanks, family. Shalom, shalom. Salam.
Could not have been